There's not a whole lot of French culture, really, other than French, other than they speak French. And they learn French in school, but they really love their language, which is called Ave. I only know a couple terms, and I really didn't want to learn any Ave because I'd say I'd forget it once I got back in the States and I wouldn't use it anymore. I only know you're welcome or thank you, which is oh no, I've said that I just totally blanked. But anyways, it's akpelo, nuswakpelo, something like that. And then finished is avo, there's nothing left, avo, avoir. So those are the only phrases I learned. Other than that, they just speak French because Benin and Togo were a French colony back in the colony days. And so I think that's why they speak French mostly. But there's 40 different dialects in that country spread throughout. So even someone in Togo, if they come from the north, speaks a different dialect than Ave. But Ave is pretty based. It's kind of like a carefree sort of speaking. There was no formalities with it. It was pretty informal based French. Like informal English. Instead of saying the rue, which is road, they'd say the vent, which in little translation is the wind in French. So those words got thrown around a bit. And then instead of saying chapter, you'd always say verse. So you'd always say verse, 2 Nephi, verse 2, verse 25. Which always would throw me off as it's chapter. People, let's say chapter here. Come on. Other than that, it was kind of easy to talk to people. It's because it's kind of informal. Just made it easier to deal with people instead of checking, oh, am I conjugating this verb right? Because in French, if you're talking to an older person, you would use vous instead of saying tu, and so conjugating words would differ. But since it was informal, it was pretty easy just to speak to anybody. So in Togolese, if they wanted to get your attention, they would actually hiss at you. So, because I would always, at the beginning of a mission, I would always say bonjour, salut, hello, hi, how you guys doing? I think they'd say salut, but normally that didn't happen. My first companion was why are you saying hello to everybody? It's it's just what I do. I'm kind of a happy, interactive person. But generally throughout my mission, I stopped doing that. But, if people wanted to get your attention, they'd hiss at you. Tss, tss. And so if you heard that, you just look around and who's doing that? What? And if you looked across the street, there'd be this guy tss, come over here. Well, no, so that's how they communicate if they wanted your attention, which is kind of interesting. Kind of got annoying in a way because that's also the way you'd flag down a taxi or a motorcycle taxi or a moto. You just go, tss, and they'd stop. And you're no, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to this other person. In a way, it's just kind of funny how that happens. But yeah, that's how they generally get your attention and just talk to you. But other than that, it was kind of you wouldn't. I don't know. It was kind of difficult. But usually, if you say, "Oh, comment ça va?" Ça va. Okay. Generally, they were pretty there wasn't a whole lot of communication going on to start up conversation. You wouldn't have any deep conversations unless you were teaching a lesson.